In the quiet of the morning, where the sunlight meets the sky, I can hear the angels calling, soft as stars that never die. Every heartbeat tells a story, every tear can turn to gold. There is healing in the silence, there is warmth inside.
Hi, everybody. Happy Memorial Day. Well, it's not a happy Memorial Day. I guess I hope you enjoyed your Memorial Day down in the States. Thank you to all of those who have served for their country and risked their lives for the United States. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Donna. You number one girl. Thank you so much. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Charmin. Hi, Let Them. Hello, Susan. Hi, Lena. How's it going? Rebellious Rhino. Why don't I see you? Oh, there we go. Hi, Rebellion. She grew up in a family that suddenly got stuck with an abrupt... Sorry, what? Tells me she grew up in a family that suddenly got stuck with an abrupt move and... Yeah, okay. Welcome, troll. Have a nice life, eh? Goodbye. Hi, Kristen. Good to see you. Hope you guys all had a good day today. Did you guys do stuff nice today? Did you do something? Hello to Speed. Thank you for coming back. Oh, they're gone. Bye. I already booted them. Hi, Karen. How's it going? Did you guys do anything nice today? I've been working all day. I've been working. So I figured I would just go live. I'm actually going to attempt to make my very first Anushtut. Those of you know what an Anushtut is. You just stayed home? Well, that's good. Made barbecue hamburger there. That sounds good too. Yum. Sounds good. Yeah, so I've been busy today. There's some new products up on the website. Hopefully the camera will show this. Come on, camera. Anyways, you can't see it, can you? Oh, there we are. Linen spray. And then forest spray. This one is fantastic. Oh my God. This is like West Coast, British Columbia forests. Come on, camera. Come on, camera. There we are. So those of you that love your earthy earthy scents, this is for you. This is absolutely beautiful. And then I did toner. I've been working on my skincare line. So the other day I made rose water face toner. And then today I made Liang Liang. I've had so many of you asking about Liang Liang. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to do some Liang Liang. Hopefully you can see that. Come on, camera. No. Anyways, you get the point. You get the point. So it's all up on the website, and I'm working with the jade. So I've done 6 bundles of jade pieces. They're all up on the website, and each bundle is 500 grams, and it's all various sizes of jade pieces. Raw British Columbia nephrite jade straight from the mountain. So those of you that do like jewelry or crafting, or even if you're just a collector, yeah, here you go. I have so much of it. You have no idea. So much of it. So if you know people that would enjoy this, please spread the word. Please. Like, I'm going to be getting like 400 pounds of it next month. And I'm not sure how I'm going to get rid of it all. So if you know people that love jade and that will work with it and will, I mean, all of this is varying, okay? Like, there's pieces in here that are like double grade A, okay? And you can use them as one singular pendant worth a fucking fortune, okay? I just can't go through every single piece. There's no way. I'd be here for the rest of my life. So, yeah. It's on my website. It's on my website, babe. So, yeah, I have a lot. And I have a lot more coming. So, yeah, there you go. Thank you, Donna. So please, yeah, if you are crafters or a jeweler or a collector, whatever you are into, please. And I'm selling this stuff as cheap as I can. Okay. Like, I know for a fact there's pieces in here that are worth there's at least one piece in here that's at least a couple $100 just for one little rock. Okay. Yeah. It's crazy. Crazy. So yeah, welcome to my world. So what I'm going to do tonight while we're live, I'm going to try and make my very first Anushtuk with jade. So wish me luck. I got my glue gun here and we'll see. Yeah, so I've got 6 bags of it up on the website right now, all packaged up, ready to go. And yeah, so I'm going to try to make an Anushtuk with these oyster shells I got. When Savvy and I went away, we went to northern British Columbia about 3 weeks ago, I guess. And we went to the beach and I couldn't help myself. I brought home bags. Bags of these beautiful oyster shells. So I've ran them through the dishwasher and disinfected them twice. And now I want to try and make an Anushtuk on one of these. So we'll see. Shipping, Joni, would probably be like, it's usually $20 average. Yep. $20. I've figured out how to do that. Like, I can ship something that's 5 pounds for $20. So yeah, it's only like 20 bucks. It's not bad at all. And that includes tariff. So yeah, so I'm going to try and make it in my oyster shells. I do have some oyster shells crystal art that I made, and I don't think anybody's even noticed them because nobody's bought any. I sold one. These are just the cutest little things. Like I was like, okay, these are so beautiful, and I wanted it to represent British Columbia, where I'm from. So I made these. These are all up on the website. They're just cute little gifts with crystals. Hopefully, come on, light. There you go. So each one is different. And they're, so yeah, each one's different. I couldn't resist. I saw these oyster shells and I was like, oh my God. I wanted to bring them all home. Savvy's like, Tara, we can't. I'm like, yes, we can. We're going to fill up the whole truck with these oyster shells. It was just absolutely beautiful. So these are on the website right now. You can find them on the website. They make beautiful gifts for someone. And I will put, on the thing, made in Canada, the oysters. These are from actually Powell River, British Columbia. So yeah, I haven't really shown them much. I sold one, and then I don't think people have even noticed that they're on the website. So yeah, they're gorgeous. So right now, I'm going to take this next oyster shell, and I'm going to try and make the Inuksuks with it. So wish me luck. Who is this asshole? Okay, goodbye. So yeah. So these are all on the website. And each one is totally different. They would make a beautiful gift for someone. Like this one's little. Perfect little gift for someone. Okay. And then look at this oyster shell. I think I'm going to keep this one. Look at this one. This is absolutely 3 oysters were attached to each other. Isn't that wild? They're all attached to each other, and I found it like this. Isn't that cool? So I'm gonna keep it, and then I don't know. I'm gonna do something with it. It would make a really cool like soap holder for the counter in the bathroom. Very, very pretty. Yeah. So have a look on my website. There's lots of stuff. Lots of stuff on the website. So I'm going to get started here. Those of you, do you know what a Inukshuk is? Inukshuk. When I lived in the United States, I was so out of touch of my own country. I didn't know what Inuksuks were until I got back up here. So they're a beautiful symbol. It's native art. They're everywhere here in Canada now. Like a lot of the major cities have Inukshuk art everywhere. And you can find them everywhere. Like you just go walking along the beach and people have little Inuksuks that they've made on the beach with stones, or people put them at the ends of their driveways for like good luck and stuff. So I'm going to try making one with the jade. Like I was looking at this. I saw this and I was like, I can do that. So that's my goal. I'm like, I can do that. I can do that. So yeah. There you go. How is everybody doing? I hope you all had a good weekend. I hope you did something productive and enjoyment. Yeah, the trolls are out today, aren't they? It's interesting. It's funny how some days there's trolls and then other days there's not. I swear it's all computerized. It's got to be computerized. Did anyone hear about the pajamas they found? I heard only the... Wow, really? Where did they find them, Joni? Where was that? Is that the one that was by San Pedro? Iceland had them too. But yeah, they called them something else, right? Yeah. Okay. Was there ever anything in the news about the remains that they had found along the San Pedro River? It was probably just a transient, right? Somebody walking through the desert. Thank you so much, Donna. Thank you very much, honey. Hi, Vexing. Hi, honey. So anything exciting happening on YouTube today in any of the cases or anything? Let me pull up my YouTube here and see if there's anything worthwhile watching. I've been actually watching a lot of Summer Wells stuff today. Summer's been on my mind a lot this last week. I really think that justice is going to come for her soon. I just have a really good feeling about it. I'm trying to stay positive, you know. Okay, nothing really happening. What has Ashley Banfield done today? So thank you all for being here. I just thought, hey, you guys can hang with me while I'm doing my stuff. I see the Gong Show has been causing a ruckus on Nancy Street. That's embarrassing. Like, seriously, that's how I think. It's embarrassing on behalf of other YouTubers. Like, come on, you guys are making a fools of yourself. Seriously, you wonder why certain agencies don't like YouTubers. Well, now you know why. It's embarrassing. Let me see here. Let me look for Hooker. Is there any info? Hooker updates. Yeah, where are the... Yes, yeah, block them all. Yep, you don't have to time them out or nothing. Just block them. I'm not even seeing them. Yep, go for it. You don't have to ask. Just if they're rude, then automatically just block them because they're obviously not meant to be here. That's how I am, like flat out. If you're rude to me, then see ya. Bye. You're obviously not meant to be on my YouTube channel. Okay, so let's see what Ashley Banfield's done. Nothing new today. Okay. Coast Guard sees his soulmate. Yeah, that's old. Let's see what Brian Enton has done. Brian Enton investigates. Hi, Spencer. Hi, couponing. Come on in. Hope you're doing well. I see lots of people are covering this Mackenzie Shrilla. Sharila. I'm probably saying it wrong. Sharila. Because that's the one that's on Netflix, right? Or something. Savvy and I watched a little bit about it. Let me see what Brian's got going on here with her. Jail Insider says Mackenzie not remorseful. Wow. And friends turn on Brian Hooker. Okay, so Brian Enton's got the goods going on. So let's watch some Brian Enton stuff. So we're gonna watch Hooker first.
Hey guys, I hope everybody.
Okay, so this is fair use commentary. All video credit, of course, goes to Brian Enton. Please subscribe to him. Show him some love. Brian Enton is absolutely amazing. He does such a good job in his journalism. He's so good. Always stays classy and professional. I appreciate him so much. It was on Netflix. Yeah, that's where we watched it. Okay. Thank you, Vexing. Thanks, honey. Okay, so let's see what Brian's got going on.
He's having a good holiday weekend. Thank you so much for checking out my show. Appreciate you guys for watching. Appreciate all the support.
right.
Thank you to those of you who have subscribed to my channel.
So I think I will make it
I wanted
first
to get this episode out this weekend just because I know this is a case that a lot of us have been following, and it's awful. And the fact that Lynette Hooker has still not been found, I know weighs heavy on a lot of people's hearts, especially her family, especially her daughter, Carly, but also her friends. And that's who you're going to hear from in this episode.
Her friends, yeah.
A gentleman named Blaine Stevenson. He is one of the Hooker's friends, him and his wife. They met back in 2023. They met the Hookers while they were sailing in Florida. And I had a long, interesting conversation for him, which I'm just going to play unedited.
Because, try this one first.
You know, he started off
huge pieces of jade.
Brian Hooker, he says, but now believes
chunks.
that there are holes in Brian Hooker's story about what happened to his wife Lynette, and just doesn't think it adds up. And he's going to explain why he believes that, what Brian Hooker has told him specifically in phone conversations that they've had.
His story does not add up at all. Yeah, you know, justice is coming. Justice is coming for Lynette. They need to get some dive teams in the water, though. I was saying this yesterday. So yeah, hi Lisa, come on in. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for being a part of another realm. Hi KP, good to see you. Yeah, Brian Enton is fantastic. Okay, so let's see. So yeah, Brian Hooker is giving everybody a load of shit, flat out.
And why he is so frustrated that there is still not an active search happening right now for Lynette Hooker. So you'll hear him explain all of that in his own words. A little bit of the backstory, though, for those of you who haven't been following this really closely. Brian and Lynette Hooker lived on a sailboat called Soulmate. They were in the Bahamas. They're from Michigan, but they were sailing in the Bahamas. After leaving shore at Hopetown in the Bahamas around 7:30 on April 4th, Brian Hooker told authorities that rough waters caused his wife to actually fall off of their dinghy. Brian Hooker says that he paddled ashore, arrived at Marsh Harbor around 4 a.m. the next day, and that he was never able to locate his.
See, I told you all my readings on that. I don't get that she just bounced off the dinghy. I definitely do not see that at all. Okay, anyways, I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm showing you a piece of jade here. Hopefully you can see this. Oh, no, you can't. Shit, you can't. Anyways, I got a piece of jade here right in my hand, and it's half jade, half rhodonite. Freaking amazing. So half of it is rhodonite. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's green on one side and red on the other. Fantastic. Rhodonite is the love stone. Yay. Okay, I'm happy with that. And then I got lots of other little pieces of rhodonite as well. So they go together, like they form together. which is amazing. Okay. All right. Sorry. I was hoping you could see the colors in that. Okay.
His wife Lynette, and that she just fell off the dinghy, and that this was a terrible accident. And he was in custody for about 5 days in the Bahamas. He was let go. And there's been a lot of suspicion surrounding him. He says he had absolutely nothing to do with his wife Lynette's disappearance. But he left the Bahamas very quickly. He said he would stay there to search. He left. No one seems to know where he is right now. Again, he has said he has nothing to do with it. He's got a lawyer who said that he had nothing to do with it, that he loved his wife very much. But now,
nobody knows where he is right now. This is a day ago. Oh, law enforcement must know where he is. I hope they haven't lost track of him. I'm sure FBI knows exactly where he is. He's just, I guess Brian's meaning he's staying low away from cameras, right?
There's by the way, a criminal investigation happening with the Coast Guard. So the U.S. Coast Guard is also investigating. You guys remember last week I was out there at the sailboat, which has now been seized by the Coast Guard in Fort Pierce, Florida, as they did a forensic search of the boat, and they call it a criminal investigation. There's an active criminal investigation, and just a lot of questions surrounding what really happened here to Lynette. So I want to play my conversation with Blaine for you. So you can just hear it in full, hear what his concerns are, hear what he thinks of Brian Hooker. Again, this is someone who knew Brian Hooker, who knows Brian Hooker, who's been in communication with Brian Hooker. And he can explain for himself why his opinions have changed in terms of, in the very beginning, he said he had no reason not to believe Brian, to now why he has a different thought process.
Okay, as we're watching this, I would like all of you to please type in the chat what your theory is on this. What do you think has happened here in the Hooker case? So please tell me in the chat what you feel has happened here.
Blaine, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. It's nice to meet you. I just wanted to start off asking you, how do you know the Hookers?
We met them boating when we were in Florida. We had just been starting out. And they had just come over from Louisiana. We met in Anchorage one night, trying to actually find a good spot to anchor down for a storm that was coming.
Yeah.
So
you guys all think so too?
Oh no, not at all. I just and then they split up. And then we met up with them again in Southern Florida, hung out with them for a while, and then just stayed boater friends since.
So, like, as I've been doing the readings on this case, I think I've said it to you several times. For some reason, I'm getting vibes of the Watts case. Like, I know there's no children involved, but just the way Chris so it must be the side chick thing. I'm picking up Watts case, the way Chris was, and the whole Nicole Kessinger on the side, and but it's more so his attitude. It's Brian Hooker's attitude, the way he is on camera, the way he's been in interviews, and it reminds me of Chris Watts.
And what was your impression of them?
Lynette and my wife are very symbiotic. They're very similar. And my relationship with Brian was always good. It wasn't in depth. It wasn't personal, but it was a person with a lot of knowledge sharing something with a newbie in me, and at the same time having mutual military background. We talk a little bit, but honestly, I would say it's just grown more on social media over the years than it did in person.
Yeah. And so how did you find out what happened?
So we first heard a person went missing in the Bahamas.
Hi, Heavy.
I would say it was Saturday or Sunday morning.
So drunk he killed her, and
no, it would have been Sunday morning or Monday morning. We heard somebody went missing in the Bahamas.
That would make sense. Yep. I agree. That's what my readings were saying. My reading is flat out there. Alcohol is fully involved here. Like, full on alcohol is a serious problem here. Hi, Crimson. Hi, Jenny. if I've missed you and I haven't said hello to you personally, then please don't take offense. Don't be offended. Okay.
Bahamas. Me and my wife and my daughter was visiting at the time. So we had this conversation about the person missing in the Bahamas and how it happened and stuff like that. And then at 10 p.m., my wife was down in bed and me and my daughter were up watching TV, and she came up crying and saying that person in the Bahamas is Lynette. So then she immediately called Brian. Brian didn't answer. Brian called back, and that is we talked with him for about an hour, and that's the phone call that obviously got recorded. And so that's how we found out.
And what did you think when you talked to him and he told you his story about what happened?
At the time,
Hi, Kiwi.
I'm pulling up a tablet of charts for the area. I wasn't there. I was drawing stuff on whiteboard. As you well know, and as many people know, like Hopetown, Elbow Cay, all of those places have intermixed names, right? So if you listen to the recording, he was all over the place in the recording. And I was getting confused. That's why I started recording. So that when me and my wife were helping him to build a WhatsApp group to get people together, that we had an idea and a lay of the land, and I could go back and research tides and currents and try and help be his guy in the chair from a distance while he was going through what he was going through.
Hi, Frulian.
So when you recorded him, it wasn't initially because you were suspicious. It was just to keep track of what he was saying, like so you could.
We call it the marriage saver. It's so that an hour later, when me and my wife were trying to say, no,
The
he was living
marriage
here.
saver.
No,
Oh my God.
Then we had it to, and you also know that when a person is going through a tragedy or grief, like just let them speak.
Yeah, the stress, right? Yeah.
You know, it's not, you don't want to grill somebody. I definitely wasn't accusing him at the time or anything of that nature. Or I would have asked a lot of different questions. But
so I'm trying to make I'm starting to make some jade Anushtuks right now as we're just sitting here watching this and stuff too. So I am paying attention as well. This is really fun to do. It's like doing a little jigsaw puzzle here.
But yeah, I was just trying to get the information out so that we could help.
So you weren't suspicious of him on that call?
Whoop.
Not at the start of the call, not the start of the recording, no.
By the end, were you?
Yes.
And what made you think that?
Okay, no.
The flares were the thing that just didn't make sense to me. The fact that the life vest being in the dinghy, it was the way he said it. I know was my initial thought of WTF. When he said, you know, we weren't wearing life vests, I understand that we don't always wear life vests. Like, and then he goes, but we have the two that the Coast Guard requires that are under, you know, and my brain is like, well, the Coast Guard require, like, you had two life vests.
I have to say, like, life vests are, I don't know, if you're somebody that's on the water all the time, life vests tend to, I have to say, like, at least with me, and I was even a kid, it wasn't a priority. Like, when you live on the water and you're on the water every single day, I guess you build up a natural confidence that you're going to be okay and nothing will ever happen to you. You know, I wore a life vest every day until I was like, I don't know, let's say 12 or 13 or something. And then it wasn't cool to do so anymore. And so I stopped wearing it. But I was fully, you know, a good swimmer and everything. But I can see what he's saying here, where, you know, you're not wearing it when you're supposed to, right? The life vests back then used to be absolutely these big puffy things. They were so uncomfortable and an inconvenience, you know?
And then he gets to a point where he talks about the sunset and that the sun hadn't set yet. So that wasn't jibing with my knowledge of living on the water, right? Like, and then he said, and then it was dark, I couldn't see her, and it was trying to play the movie out in my head as a visual learner, and I couldn't put the pieces together as he described them. I wasn't necessarily suspicious he was wrong or did anything evil, or still to this day, that's not my place. My place
just
is
wasn't adding up.
But it didn't make linear sense to me.
Yeah.
Did you talk to him again after that one call?
We texted. He sent me the pictures that you see floating around online about where he said it happened.
Yeah.
He sent me a text saying that he sent the information over to search and rescue. And then I'm honestly just going to look right now to make sure. I sent him a message at one point that said, "Hey, my wife is too distraught. Message me instead of her," because that was all on her phone. Any updates? I asked, send my way. He sent a picture of the green floaty that was found 100 yards south of where the dinghy reached, and that was it.
And when was the last time you talked to him?
Good night.
April 7th at 8:25
Good night, Charmin. Love you, girl.
Okay, so it's been a while.
Have a good sleep.
Yeah.
Did you stop texting him, or what made you stop kind of communicating?
If I remember correctly, the 7th was Tuesday, and he got arrested on Wednesday.
All right.
And that's when
Case
we
number
put
one
ourselves
is up.
into the narrative and released the recording because he wasn't able to speak at that point.
Yeah.
The initial releasing of the audio was to get people out searching the right areas based off of Brian's story. It really was. It was, as we said when it first happened, Brian's in jail.
I'm not really a crafty person. I'm really good at making my products and stuff, but I've never really been good at doing like crafts. So this is a new start for me. So I'm going to enjoy it for quite a while, I think, here.
Brian can't find Lynette. In those first 4 to 5 days, there was, in our opinion, there was still a chance that she was on an island somewhere dehydrated. We still to this day don't know how extensive the search was. As we've built out our timeline of events and situations, it seems like search and rescue was out there, and I love search and rescue. I'm not hitting on them. They were out there searching for a good 3 hours that morning, Sunday morning with Brian. But I do not know of any other official Bahamian search coordinated events that have taken place since. There may have been. They just haven't been talked.
I don't understand all this stuff. Like, it's really I'm trying not to get really frustrated with these cases. To be honest, I just cannot get past not one search for Nancy Guthrie yet. Official. Nothing. Why has there not been a search for Nancy Guthrie?
Do you think they know something we don't know, which is why they're not searching more, or why they stopped searching so quickly?
I don't understand anything the Bahamian police have done. I don't. Now, as an island person who lives in the islands and loves the islands, I'm on record and I've said that, hey, let's not blame local authorities when Americans go places and do stupid stuff. And then we complain about what they do. But it's been 5 weeks. The idea and concept that Ashley Banfield had to go find somebody who had a picture of the last thing Lynette was wearing, and she's the one that took that to search and rescue people. When the Bahamas had the...
What? I didn't know it was Ashley that... Oh my God. So, yeah, they're failing these people. They're failing. Hi, Kim.
Abaco in video that would show what she was wearing and could have given to their own search and rescue team. That's not dealing with outside media or dealing with outside agencies. That's Bahama on Bahama, no communication.
Well, I'm just thinking if they had him in jail for 5 days questioning him, I mean, they don't just do that willy-nilly, I don't think. I mean, you don't hear about that happening very much when someone goes missing unless they had some suspicion, obviously. I'm just wondering if there's something they know that's leading them not to search.
I would hope that they would release it then. Because as a family, we have Soulmate,
Yeah.
Brian, and the Coast Guard all
Yeah.
in America doing America
Stressing.
things, right? And even, you know, everyone's like, I hope they arrest him soon. Well, I hope they don't, because then everybody in the media gets closure, but the family doesn't.
Right.
I still want us to be able to search the Bahamas. I was just on the phone with Darlene talking about we need to get a search party, and she's in agreement. We're all in agreement. We need
Hi, Ellie.
permission to do a search and find Lynette.
You can't see what
Brian
I'm doing? Okay.
being arrested, guilty or innocent or any of that doesn't matter in finding Lynette. And I think that everything that shifts more towards the criminal side shifts away from where is Lynette's side.
Yeah. I think about Carly and, yeah, you're right. I mean, we are also focused on Brian, and there can't really be any sort of resolution, I guess, if she doesn't know what happened.
It's
to her
like-
mom.
Brian's side.
It's like a puzzle here. It's like I'm kind of doing like a jigsaw puzzle. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing here.
Sucking the oxygen out of Lynette's air right now, as far as she's the one missing. This really doesn't have anything to do with Brian anymore. There is a missing
Right.
person in the Bahamas, regardless of how she got there. Can we please get permission to search?
Right.
Has anyone gotten any answers from the Bahamians about why they stopped searching?
As
You
far
know-
as I can tell from any of my contacts inside the Coast Guard, the media, the locals, there has been not a word released by the Bahamian police other than like 3 press releases. 1, that a woman went missing, 2, that they arrested Brian, and 3, that they released him because on behalf of the parliament. Those are the
Wow.
only 3 pieces of information I've been able to track down that came from Bahamian police themselves.
Do you have any idea where Brian is?
No, I don't. I don't know if anybody does.
I need a toothpick.
Brian's behavior
I'll be right back, okay?
since this took place
I need a toothpick.
have not been the Brian I know, and have been disingenuous is the nicest way I could put it. So I don't even believe he's in the country, in my personal thought. Now that's complete speculation, but I don't think he is.
Is there anywhere you think he would go? I mean, does he have certain places that he's familiar with?
I don't know him well enough to know places he's familiar with. You know, I don't know places he was stationed or whatnot. I do know he was in the Marines. I do know that, you know, he was not the Vietnam generation, but he was, you know, the people, his sergeants and his command staff were. So, you know, I look to the modern day tourism of vets going back to Vietnam and being welcome there and the non-extradition treaty there. My brain kind of leads to that, but that's going down the speculation angle I don't even like to do. But the fact that he hired that attorney in Michigan and the timing of it and the sit-down press conference was odd. That was almost like a magician's trick of, look, I'm over here, but he wasn't in that interview. He wasn't sitting with his attorney. There was no reason to conduct a sit-down interview to answer 3 questions by that attorney. He was falling out of the news cycle at that time. Why throw himself back into it?
Ah, shit. That's not
The
gonna work.
moving of Soulmate to Florida was also another, hey, look, I'm here, but I'm not here. It's an awful lot of money wasted to not show up.
Was there anything strange looking back now when you interacted with Brian, when you saw Brian, when you were friends with Brian?
Thanks for
Like,
hanging with me, everyone, as I just sitting here watching this. And you know what I was watching earlier today? I found a channel that does cleaning of houses, like absolutely off the charts, disgusting houses. I was going to actually see if you guys would be interested in just like something totally different, something to watch together that's, is just something that would draw your attention for a while.
now that you know this situation, that you think, well, gosh, that was kind of weird that he said that or did that.
I looked at his political posts on social media as passionate activism. But looking back on it now, I mean, there was some anger. I mean, I understand politics gets people riled up. I don't get involved in politics. We live on a boat, we travel. But he was very actively involved and very actively angry and very actively aggressive.
Oh,
And I
really?
guess that showed some personality I didn't think transferred over, but it likely did.
Was there ever anything with the way he interacted with Lynette that kind of you thought, well, that was kind of
That's interesting what he just said, eh? He's just an angry person, right? Yeah, it's kind of like hoarders, but it's more about like actually cleaning the dirty houses. Like I just watched this stream about an elderly lady that passed away and her whole house was just trashed. And I don't know, I just find it satisfying to watch them clean it all up,
weird.
No, but when we were together or subsequently like online interactions, my wife would, you go out to dinner. I would talk with Brian, Lynette and Marnie would talk at the other end of the table. There was a time we borrowed their car, and I think most of the communication just naturally ran between Marnie and Lynette.
Okay. Yeah, Lynette
that's
seems like a wonderful person.
interesting
mean,
what he's saying
He
here,
hit the
eh?
lottery with marrying her, especially if you want to live this lifestyle. I know I hit the same lottery ticket. But yeah, Lynette was awesome.
What about the weather? I mean, because I talked to a captain in that area who said that his story about the weather is just not reality.
So I've talked with 3 captains in our boater circle that were there, and a homeowner that I trust that is also a boat owner, that say that night the weather got bad. Okay. I believe them. SB Angelfish did a Substack on.
So far, out of everybody I've heard them interview and talk to regarding this case, this guy has been the most insightful.
The weather being bad that night. And a couple other people, I don't have permission to say their names, but they're like, hey, just so you know, the weather got bad that night. I think it's important to note time, though. So we've now seen videos, still footage, security cameras of the area at the time of incident. And we can see that it hadn't gotten bad yet. I think it is important to note for a search or for finding Lynette that the weather did get bad later. Right? Like, I don't believe that everybody's lying, that but also I don't believe that video lies. So I do believe the weather got
You
bad
do
later
watch
that
those.
evening.
Okay, good. Okay.
I do believe that that it wasn't that bad at the time of the incident. He said the incident took place. So we got a
Savvy and I are always watching these guys that do the yards too. The people that mow and take care of people's yards for free. Absolutely love watching that. It's funny, we sit there and we're watching people lawn mow back and forth. It's almost mesmerizing. Yeah, fantastic.
Mesh those two together and figure out what time did the weather get bad.
Yeah. But you're saying the timing doesn't match up with when he said the weather was
It doesn't
bad.
match his story.
Yeah.
But if he's remembering 2 to 4 foot waves and but he didn't leave till 9:30 or 10 or was out there, you know, there wasn't the weather to create the event that caused Lynette to go overboard. But I'm sure somewhere in his journeys that night, whether his story is true or whether his story is false, somewhere in that night he experienced bad weather for sure.
How experienced was he as a boater,
Oh,
from what
okay,
you know,
this is
and
good.
when you saw him? I mean, did he seem like he knew what he was doing?
They definitely had more information than me when I met him. I don't, we don't share resumes, but he talked like a person that I would bounce ideas off of. He gave me a lot of good advice that, I mean, honestly ended up saving my life during a storm. He got me through it. He was in my head. As far as like
The blessing.
his sailing
Yeah.
experience or my sailing experience or how great it is,
Yeah.
I don't know. I know that they spent enough time to where his dinghy operation skills and reaction times and situations should have been on point. That was not the first time that those two in a dinghy hit a wave or had a situation on a dinghy. So I would say his boating skills were above average for sure.
I'm just thinking back to your phone call with him. I mean, did he seem
good.
to you genuinely distraught?
No, but I'm not a psychologist. I'm not somebody who, it's also, this was Monday at 10 o'clock and the incident happened Saturday. I did not, at that time I was recording him, know any of the timeline events in between and what he had been through. Or who was with him to help him, or, I would not fault a man for, taking anxiety medication when you
Yes,
lose your
okay.
wife, and that may be why he sounded flat. I didn't and still won't read into that moment of his tone because I have not lost my wife. I do not know what my tone would be like.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Was he a big drinker?
When we met them, they drank. We didn't see anything like negative, but right after we met them, they broke up for about month or two. And then when they got back together and Marnie said, hey,
No, I've not seen that coupon.
soulmate is, they're one Anchorage down here. We're going to go meet up with them and have dinner. And then she said, by the way, they don't drink anymore. And it's just like, and then I think we had the conversation of like, do we still drink in front of them? Or is this like, we're helping them out? And then we just both did the shoulder shrug and we never drank around them. So
they were sober. Okay, I guess I was right.
out with them after they got back together.
Wow.
Interesting. When they broke up, did you know they broke up?
My wife knew the details. I knew they broke up just because it's like, hey, which Anchorage are the hookers in? And she's like, I got a message from Lynette saying she left him.
I love it.
I'm like, oh, okay. So I guess we're not boating with them anymore. Was my internal, I didn't reach out to Brian. We weren't that close. I didn't be like, hey, what's going on?
Wow, that's crazy.
But I'm like, oh, okay. Well, and then when my wife says, hey, they got back together, I'm like, all right.
See, I was getting alcoholism for both of them. I didn't want to I think I said it, but I didn't want to come out and totally say it. But yeah. How? Well, that would explain it, especially if that is just such a stress in itself. Like, you're having relationship problems and then you're both having sobriety problems. Then you're having the stress of the sobriety problem itself, which a lot of the time will be 10 times worse than anything else. The sobriety problem is what turns into be the number one problem. And yeah, that's too bad.
Well, let's go to dinner. I wasn't privy to the details my wife was until this situation happened.
And what did your wife say that she knew
Wow.
about, like in terms of the breakup?
She had the messages, so this is just going to be
I
paraphrasing,
love
but that
it.
he got bad. He was angry that they had spent their life together, but she couldn't cruise with him
I
anymore
fell
and be alone
down.
on a boat with him.
Donna.
And I didn't know that even up until after I got off the phone.
Donna. Miss Crafty, my glue is not working. I got hot glue and I got this stuff, this Craft Bond tacky glue. Will that work? I also have Gorilla Glue somewhere. I don't know where it is. My hot glue is not working. Shit. Epoxy. Okay. Okay. We've got some somewhere. Okay, okay. Okay, thanks. I'm not a crafty. I have no idea what I'm doing. Shit. Okay, I'll be right back.
With Brian after the incident.
And what was the date of that the message your wife got?
That would have been December 2023 or January of 2024.
Okay, so they had been back together for a while.
It's the one that's floating the internet.
Yeah. I've seen it. I just couldn't remember the date. Okay. Do you know of any other trouble between that and when the incident happened?
I don't.
Okay.
I will fully admit, like during a couple election cycles, I started unfollowing because it was just too much in my feed. But we did have talks about coming up to the Bahamas or them coming down. There was a lot of communication on, well, how'd you do this route or how'd you do that route?
That's not gonna work.
Doing a lot
JB
of math to hook back
Wells?
up with them because we really did like
Okay.
them as people.
Tacky glue takes too long to dry.
We had just made
Okay.
it too far south,
Gorilla
too
glue.
fast,
Okay.
and
We've got some
they were
Gorilla
in the
glue somewhere.
Bahamas,
I'll
and
be right back.
it just didn't work out. But it wasn't for any particular reason other than that.
It's interesting you brought up the political posts again. And like, I've never lived on a boat. My grandpa lived on a boat and I live in Florida, but I've never lived on a boat, but I know the culture a little bit. Like, I guess I just associate most boat people as being more like chill than constantly posting like about politics. You know, that doesn't, like, in my mind, fit the personality of someone just like retired and chilling on their boat.
It does. He was definitely the most political person I had in my entire feed. And we're talking, you know, the last 4 years of election and whatever American chaos is going on. It just got to a point where I just didn't want to see it anymore. You know, nothing personal against him. Not even that I disagreed with his positions necessarily. There was a couple of times I tried to agree with his position from a different angle in a comment, but he would shut it down. He was aggressive of his point is his point. And I'm just like, all right, man, like,
okay.
You know, it's not worth me taking away from this beautiful view I have to focus on whatever's going on in this state. Sorry, just not worth the time.
What do you want to see happen now?
Okay, I'll order some. We don't have any, so
to give us permission to do a comprehensive search of the Bahamas.
Jewelry glue.
Professionals.
Okay.
With family.
All right. Thank you, ladies.
To find land. It would be the best thing for everyone. I do not want 5 years from now somebody still ripping a scab off of Carly because this is still a mystery. We see it in all these cases where somebody isn't found. That the family and
project on hold
keeps getting traumatized. Any green dry bag, anytime in the next
On
10
hold
years that is found in
now.
the Bahamas is going to be a new scar for Darlene, Carly, and my
Okay.
wife.
Okay,
It's
cool.
going to
All right.
be-
Thanks for your
we
advice,
need to
Lee.
get there. We need to find her. For whatever evidence that brings, I don't care. We need to find her so that this chapter closes, so that it's not affecting a 28-year-old woman the rest of her life.
Okay.
Really appreciate Blaine for taking the time to talk with me. Appreciate you guys for following along. Again, I hope everybody's having a nice holiday weekend. But I just had this conversation with Blaine a couple days ago, and I wanted to get this out just because I started to think about what he was saying. Like, why is there no one still searching for Lynette that we know of?
Right?
And how does someone
Very
just
good
go
question.
missing like that? It's always bothered me. And how is her family supposed to process that? And everybody just moves on. And yes, there's the criminal investigation, but Blaine and some of the other friends really want there to be more of a search for Lynette. So there can be some, I hate to use the word closure because then that's kind of like a cheesy word, but some kind
Answers.
of resolution. To this whole
Answers.
thing. So I'll
Yeah.
stay on top of it. I appreciate you guys again. And I'm going to be traveling this week for work. So I got a couple of other stories cooking. And that's about it. So I'll talk to you guys later.
Bye. That was really good. Brian Enton is fantastic. Okay, well, that sucks. My glue is not working. I will order me some of both of what you just said. So E6000, JB Weld, and jewelry glue. I don't have any jewelry glue, do I? No, I don't think I do. Okay. All right. So you want to look at that channel I was just looking at. Let me see if I can find it again. It was Extreme Cleaning. It was just so fascinating to watch. Oh my God. Okay, yeah, we've been watching Midlife. We watch Midlife Stockman all the time. He's really good. Oh, here we are. Midwest Magic Cleaning. Oh my God. And I also found Crime Scene Cleaning. Like, there's actually crime scene cleaning. It's horrific, but interesting to watch. Midwest Magic. This is what yeah, these people. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna watch this. So this is fair use commentary, and video credit goes to Midwest Magic Cleaning. Please subscribe to them, give them a like, go watch their content. We're gonna watch a little bit of what I'm talking about right now. I just found them. This is amazing. So, cleaning a house after a tenant trashed it and dipped. Jewelry cement. Oh, GS Jewelry Cement. Okay, thank you so much, KP. Yeah, the crime scene cleanups are fascinating. Okay, so let's...
My name is Michael Row Your Boat Ashore, but my maiden name was Goose Honkman. This week, we cleaned out a house that was absolutely trashed by a former tenant, and there's a massive amount of information to get through. Keep in mind, as you're seeing these pictures, that this is the way the house was left after they moved. I'll get into what we found and how bad it actually was, because it actually took us 6 months to even get into this house to clean it, and I'll explain why here in a bit. But first, I wanted to touch on the fact that kind of my motto here for this channel is that empathy is a requirement. The people who I help are undergoing major mental illness, sometimes very severe ADHD, OCD, PTSD, hoarding disorder, and sometimes it's as bad as like schizophrenia. And the woman
Yeah.
who lived here clearly could not take care of herself. So she does have my empathy. But I wanted to talk about the landlord in this case because this was not a house that she had to just make extra money from. This is a house that she kept the rent really low. And she typically rented to people who were in bad situations to begin with. This is not one.
Ah, see, that's really, really nice of the landlord. You don't come across people that do that very often, you know? So their intention was kindness to help out people that needed help, you know?
One of those evil petting a cat in a dark corner landlords that people make up in their head. It's not a cartoon villain. She's a very, very generous woman, and she trusted this tenant to at least take care of the house. And unfortunately, what she got in return was about $70,000 worth of damages. So let's
Oh my God. Crazy. You've done it, gotten burned, but not that bad. Yeah, I can imagine, Lisa. I've never done it. I've never been a landlord myself, but I've cleaned up many people's houses. I knew people that I think they were in the same situation. I think there was probably some mental health problems there, and they were hoarders, and the typical didn't clean up after their cats, that type of thing. I always wondered. I was like, okay, why do these people live like this? And I spent my entire time trying to clean up for them. Like every time I went there, I cleaned their house for them. Just cuz it had to be done. That's just how I am. If I go in your home and I get to know you and I see that you are struggling, I will help you. That's just the way it is.
talk about the backstory. About 6 months ago, I got a message from Rick the Jerk.
Though nowadays I won't do this. I've changed and I won't do this now. I've done my fair share of helping and not being appreciated for it. And so now I'm older and I've got arthritis and I got pains and I'm like, nah, fuck it. I'm sorry. It's not my problem. But yeah, I did my fair share of helping people who didn't even appreciate the help that I gave them,
Who has his own YouTube channel that I'll link in the description of this video. He had a friend who owned a house and she had just evicted this person. And he said it was in pretty bad condition. Could I come over and take a look at it? So I said, yeah, we met there. We did a walkthrough. I said, yeah, I can do this. We can do a video out of it and all that. I'll clean it for free, just like I cleaned all my other ones. And we were only in the house for about 10 or 15 minutes. And then we all went to the road to talk. We were getting ready to take off in our various directions. When Rick leaned down and said, oh, I got a flea on me, and he picked one off. And then I looked down at my pants and they were blue jeans, but from the knees down, they were virtually black. There were
Oh, no way. Black with fleas all over his pants. That's one thing I have to touch wood 1,000 times. For some reason, where we are, we're in an area called the Okanagan in British Columbia, and it's kind of like we're in like partial desert terrain here. And for some reason, we don't have fleas here. Thank God. We don't have fleas. But down in Vancouver on the coast, they're like everybody's riddled with fleas there. They're everywhere. But we don't have them here, and I am so thankful for that.
thousands of fleas on both of us, and we didn't realize it. It turns out the house had a flea infestation that was worse than any house I had ever been in my life.
Like fleas are in place, from what I've gathered, fleas are in environments that are kind of like, moist, right? Where it rains a lot. And this place is so dirty that it could be in danger. Right, exactly. Danger to their health for sure. The cleaning up people, they should be wearing masks. Though I did watch the other video and they were wearing masks in the other video, but though I have to say there's many times where I didn't wear masks either. I walked around with 5 gallons of bleach and yeah.
life, and I'll be 52 this month. So I told Rick the house definitely has to be fumigated before I'll go in. Like if I go in and even 3 fleas jump on me, I'm right back out again. I've got a cat.
Yeah.
I've got a nice house. I don't want fleas in my bed. Fleas are the one thing I can't handle. It took Rick dozens of treatments of
handle
that house,
fleas
both
either.
wet treatments and dry treatments and the can cloud fumigation stuff to get that thing completely cleared out of fleas. It took half a year. There were so many.
Yeah, fleas, from what I remember down in Vancouver, fleas were so hard to get rid of. Didn't matter what you did, you could not get rid of the fleas.
Fleas that it was genuinely dangerous to be in the house. Like the dogs that she would have in there, regardless of the size, with that many fleas in the house, the dogs would have been anemic. Trust me, that's not as bad as it gets. We'll get into that, the big part of the story here in just a few minutes. So the woman,
The dogs would have been crawling in fleas, and the cats. Like, I can't imagine the itch that the animals go through.
told me that she had rented this place to a woman who was in a pretty bad situation to begin with, and rent was becoming a big problem, even as cheap as she kept the rent. It got to the point to where the woman was only paying her when she had.
Well, look at the wall there. It looks like black mold. It could be just lighting there, but it looks like black mold, doesn't it? Some people don't realize that they have black mold in their house and how bad it is. It can make you really, really sick. Really sick. Even just a little bit of black mold and you don't know it's there can be making you sick.
The money, which was basically never. And eventually the landlord had to go to her house and say, okay, we need to work out something. This is not working. When she got to the house, it was so trashed that she said, you have 1 month to clean this up. She came back a month later and nothing had been touched. It was in the same exact condition that it was in when she first saw it. So then she gave her more than a month to find a new place to live, and eventually.
Wow, that sounds like a very kind, reasonable landlord. Like, can you imagine? Very nice landlord.
Eventually, they had to evict the woman. That woman then went on Facebook and trashed the landlord up and down and said that the house was unlivable because the landlord didn't keep up with it. So the landlord is not the type of person to talk crap about other people, but at this point, she had hit the end of her rope and just posted like a dozen.
Oh, I don't blame her. Don't blame her at all.
Maybe even more pictures, 24 pictures of the house, and said, just beware. If you own a house and you're renting it, sometimes you're going to run into stuff like this. But no, this was not a case of a landlord neglect. I didn't come into her house and trash the place. This is what she left me. Here's where it gets worse. I'm pretty sure there were kids in the house because
kids involved. That's where I start to get pissed. Okay, so epoxy 330 or 2-part. Okay. Awesome. Okay, thank you very much, Jody. All you crafty ladies, I appreciate all your advice. Thank you so much.
What I found on the floor was not just pet waste, both solid and liquid. It was also human waste. And I found like little kids' underwear and pull-ups and diapers. I was pretty sure that she was just letting the kids run around the house with no clothes on, and they were just going on the carpet. We pulled a rug out of the living room that smelled of urine so bad, or just straight ammonia, because the urine had broken down into ammonia, that you couldn't stand downwind from the dumpster. It was so pungent that it would take your breath once it hit you. All of the pillows and bedding that were left behind, same exact thing, just urine everywhere. On top of that, there was rotting food on the floors and in most of the house, and then it was just covered in dead fly bodies. I mean, it was sincerely a situation, just judging from the aftermath, where I believe CPS should have been called, and at a bare minimum, animal welfare should have been called. Because if the house had that many fleas and flies and all that in it.
Look at how the floor is peeling up. Oh my God, look at the floor. Look at that. The floor is peeling up. That's crazy. Okay, I'm going to see what else. these people have on their channel. I'll give you a sec here. They got lots of... Cleaning extremely toxic. Okay, this is what I was watching earlier. Okay, so let's watch
The
this.
guy wasn't a part of the house. He was just some random dude. I'd never beep like that at somebody I'm trying to help. But we'll get to that guy and that story a little bit later in the video. First, hi, welcome to Midwest Magic Cleaning. My name is Jolene. My sincerest apologies.
Okay, so this is fair use commentary. We are having a very educational live stream at this moment. Please go and give them a subscribe, give them a thumbs up on their videos, and tell them we sent you. And giddy up. Let's go for the ride. Everybody put your face masks on, get some bleach and some vinegar and spray your area, and let's watch.
To Dolly Parton. And this week we spent about 60 man hours working on a house of someone who is unfortunately no longer with us. She was 92 or 94 when she passed, so she lived a long life. And I'm going to try to tell you as much of her story as I can, but I'm kind of piecing it together from stories from about 6 different people. So the first thing I guess that you need to know is that she didn't really have any family. She was, let's say 94. And when you're...
See, this is heart-wrenching. This is heart-wrenching. You know, if any, I don't need to say it to you guys. I have the most amazing subscribers on my channel, but I know all of you would, like, if you ran into an elderly person that needed help, I'm sure you would help them out. Yeah. But by the sounds of it, this lady had nobody.
That age, there's a high probability that you've actually outlived your kids, if you have any, and probably most of your family. So even though she owned this house, it was actually in a trust. So when she passed and there was no family to take it over, that means that it goes back to the bank. In the last few years of her life, she had developed dementia to the point to where she could no longer tell the police when they arrived.
It's just the right thing to do, right? Helping elderly and helping children, of course. Savvy helped an elderly lady in the neighborhood just a couple weeks ago, and she's such a sweetheart. She's the same. She's like in her 80s, and she drives around on this little go-kart or golf cart. And so every time she goes by now, she waves and hi. She's so sweet. But she needed help. She doesn't have any family to help her, right?
Help her out with various ailments, who the president was, what year it was, and so on. And then they eventually had to force her into a nursing home. Before then, they couldn't really do much besides step in and investigate smells reported by neighbors. The police did tell me that they took out several truckloads of just garbage at one point, and she had told them before dementia really set in that she had just flat out given up on cleaning, on life, on trying to take care of herself. I was told by another person who saw her somewhat frequently that when she came outside to talk to them, her toenails were so long that they curled into the ground. They curled over and touched the...
Oh my God, I can't even fathom. I can't even fathom that. Though, you know, I'm sure there's thousands of elderly out there that are in just this situation, right? They have nobody to help them at all. Nobody knows that they're there alone.
The sidewalk. So she let her hygiene go really bad. And a lot of what you're going to see in this house, I'm going to forewarn you before we get deep into it, is one of the more shocking houses that I've done. In the beginning, it looks like we're just taking out furniture.
Okay. Are we ready for this? Do you guys do you want to continue and see the shocking? Are you guys ready for this? Do you want me to continue? Wow, really? Dropped them off, moved away, and never looked back. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? You want me to continue? Okay. All right.
And it's just a cluttered house. Trust me, it gets bad. Like I had to put on full Breaking Bad type of gear to clean the bathroom type of bad. And for that matter, even to clean the hallway. At one point, I was fully suited up to scrape stuff off of the hallway. We'll get into that here.
Okay, I can relate. I can relate. I am going to tell you guys one story. One time, what I did to help these people. I knew these people in a previous life, and they didn't have a very clean way of life. Like I was helping them every single week, cleaning every week, and then I come back the next day and the place is trashed. Anyways, at one point in time, I don't know what happened. There must have been a mental break there between the people living there, but at one point in time they had several dogs, like 3 or 4 dogs all in the house. Well, the dogs started shitting in their bedroom. And I don't know how long this went on for. I don't know. I never cleaned their bedroom. I didn't go near their bedroom. Well, all of a sudden, it seemed like their bedroom was full of clothes all over the floor, right? Garbage, cat shit, cat piss, and dog shit everywhere. And like it got to the point where the dogs were actually shitting on the bed, and they were the humans were sleeping on it. They were actually sleeping on it. So finally one day I went there and I lost my fucking mind. I'm like, this is just absolutely fucking off the charts. How can you people live like this? Anyways, I took over the whole thing. I don't even know where they went. I think I kicked them out of the house for the day. I was just like, get out. Just let me deal with this, because they obviously couldn't do it. I never did understand that. They just couldn't do it. So I went in there with a couple boxes of black trash bags. I had mask on my face. I had bottles of bleach. I swear to God, the dog shit and the garbage and the clothes came up to my waist. And I took every single thing in that room. I didn't care what it was. I didn't give a fuck if it was like a Louis Vuitton purse on the floor. I threw it all away. I put everything they had into bags and threw it out their back door onto the porch. Yeah. And now, like 20 years later, I look back at that and I think I just shake my head at myself like, what the fuck was I doing? But I wanted to help. That's just how I just wanted to help. And the craziest part of it all, the lady that owned the house, she actually got fucking mad at me. She got mad at me for throwing her clothes outside. I'm like, well, your clothes are covered in dog shit. That shows you the mental health fucking break. Like, oh my God, it was so bad, you guys. But they managed to keep it clean for 2 weeks after that. That's about it. And then it went right back to the way it was. And that's when I was like, okay, no, I'm never doing this again. Ungrateful, never, ever, ever, ever doing that again. Yeah. Yeah. It's the craziest shit. And they were sober. Like you would think it would be a situation where somebody would be like not sober, like an intoxication type scenario. Nope. They were all sober. I'll never understand it. Never ever understand it. But as a human, like I felt like I had to help. I'm like, you how are you sleeping here? Like, how can you sleep here? Yeah, they did. Crazy. Yeah, absolutely crazy. But lesson learned for me. Sometimes you can do things to help people, and sometimes it's just extreme. Like I shouldn't have helped. It was just extreme, and they just were very ungrateful. And yeah, I still don't understand it. Let's just say that was a different life. I'll never see those people ever again.
In a bit too. So the reason I'm telling you about her age and the dementia and stuff like that is because you're going to see a whole bunch of furniture in this house that's more than 100 years old just being thrown in a dumpster. And normally I would try to do anything
You too, Lisa. Have a good night, hon. Thank you for being here. Welcome to another realm.
I could to save old antiques like that, but they were so destroyed from roach poop and cat urine that they could not be saved. I'm telling you that I've done about 300 houses ish, and I have never smelled more potent ammonia than when I walked in this house. And even after we cleaned it, you could still smell the ammonia. We couldn't even stand in there and have a conversation with the people who were showing.
And that's what this place was like too. Like every time I went there, you'd walk in the door and the cat piss was so bad, your eyes would actually burn. And that's why now I fucking hate cats. Like, sorry, watch my mouth. I swear a lot. Just get used to it. I hate cats. Like, I actually have a phobia now of cat piss. Like, if I go somewhere and I think I'm smelling cat piss, I'll never go back. I hate cats. And that's why. You'd walk in their house and your nose would burn, your eyes would burn. And that's why I say that to trolls now. You get assholes on here that are trolling. Immediately, I'm like, go fucking clean your litter box. You're probably one of those pig people that live in filth. And instead of cleaning your cat's litter box, you're trolling me? Go get a life. Yeah. Can't stand it. And cats, that's just so like cruel. It is so cruel to the animal.
Showing us, what everything was and giving us her backstory. We couldn't even hold a conversation in the house because the ammonia would take your breath. It turns out that she was a sucker for feral cats, and every single cat that showed up, she would take in, and they would end up attacking her and causing a huge infection at one point, and she refused to go to the hospital. The police ended up having to basically force her to the hospital so the bite didn't kill her. And then the cats just took over the house, and they pooped everywhere and peed everywhere. There were no litter boxes that I saw. Every carpet, every inch of flooring was about a 1/4 inch thick of just feces. And I'm telling you straight up, it wasn't all animal.
Nasty.
There was so much roach poop underneath nightstands and beds and inside closets that I filled a 5-gallon bag inside of a shop vac. We filled a 30-yard dumpster entirely full from everything we took out of this house. And we were...
See, it's funny though. I love construction and architecture and houses. As they're cleaning this, I'm looking at the floor here. I'm like, wow, those are actually really nice floors. Those could be like sanded down and refinished. They could be really pretty. Yeah. Oh, you can't see the screen? Oh, it's because I'm talking away. Sorry, guys. Anyways, yeah, so the floor, I'm looking at the floor right now and I'm like, well, look at like that wood could be sanded and refinished and it would be like oak floors.
Able to save 2 things. One was what they call a Costco cart. It's one of those from the 1940s or 1950s, and it was in mint condition. It's kind of like a little rolling island caddy type cart. The other one you'll see here in just a bit because I stop in the middle of cleaning to show the girls what I found. Speaking of the girls, I've got 3 of them working with me. The tiny one is Jennifer. That's my girlfriend. The blonde is Kristen. That's my assistant. And Allison is the tall one. She's 6 feet tall, but I could still dunk over her in a moment's notice. In fact, I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm just going to drive to her house, dunk over her, and then leave while giggling. Allison does a lot of my social media posts for me and helps edit together things like short videos.
Well, I'm glad we found your channel. Midwest Magic Cleaning. Everybody please subscribe to them. These people are doing very, very good service to humanity.
and little snippets and stuff for Facebook and TikTok and whatnot. Altogether, it took all 4 of us a solid week to get this house done. And even with
Yeah, probably. You're right. You're right. The floors are probably destroyed with urine. Yeah. The ammonia.
the amount of work and effort that we put into it, I would still not stay overnight in this house. It smells way too bad. So when I first came into this house, I thought it wasn't really hoarding disorder. It was more living in squalor. But as we went through the house, we noticed she would collect things that were kind of illogical. I guess to us, it would be illogical, but for her, it had a lot of meaning. So for instance, Jennifer found about 100 bread bags neatly rolled up and folded and put into cabinets. She had an overabundance of jars. She had a massive amount of fabric that I assume she was a crafter at one point, but just couldn't do it anymore, but just couldn't let go of the fabric. She had what I find in most houses in this situation, which is a massive amount of magazines. I'm going to tell you honestly, every time I find a pile of magazines in one of these houses, it makes me angry. I don't know why it.
That's funny because I do the same thing. I can't stand magazines and newspapers. It irritates the crap out of me. I think that's because I think possibly when I was a kid, one of the houses I was in was probably had a lot of magazines from what I remember. National Geographic magazines by the hundreds.
It does. There's no reason for me to get angry about it. But every time I go into a house that's hoarded and I find 500 to 1,000 magazines, I'm always like, why? Why do you need this many Good Housekeeping magazines? What are you saving these for? But again, this is hoarding disorder. That it's not the same logic that we operate on.
Yeah.
And they see a value in items that we would just think nothing about. It's a mental illness.
Yeah, the National Geographics are now worth money, aren't they? Yeah. Interesting.
Illness, and mental illness does not operate with the cold robotic logic that everybody seems to want to force on people with this disorder. To her, most likely, she couldn't throw away those magazines any more than she could throw away one of her cats. She also had a habit of buying multiples of different items. So I counted, I think, somewhere around 10 coffee pots that were still in the boxes, still in the packaging. She also had a thing for clocks. We threw away dozens of clocks, and there was no kind of rhyme or reason to the ones that she bought. They were just random cheap clocks from Walmart. Everything from alarm clocks to clock radios to schoolhouse clocks. None of them had any great value, but it was definitely a huge interest of hers. It was the same with jigsaw puzzles, but she would actually do the jigsaw puzzle and glue it down and frame it and hang it on her walls. So almost every picture that you'll see us removing from these walls is a jigsaw puzzle that she did. And that's the
That's really nice. Framing your art. I love that.
difference between a hoard and a collection. Typically, a collection is proudly displayed and a hoard is just kind of jammed into whatever space it can fit. I think one of the things that got to me the most is that you can see there was a tipping point in her life where she used to be super organized. All of her bread bags were neatly folded. Her clothes were hung up and not wrinkled. They were all in order, like all the shirts would be together and the pants would be together on its section. And she had a whole bunch of old suits and stuff that still had the plastic covering that went over the suit and the hanger to protect it. She had a whole bunch of blankets and cloth that were neatly, perfectly folded. And not just folded, but they were placed in the shelf with precision. The further we got down in the piles and the further we got into the closets, we just noticed that things back then were done with more purpose, and there was hardly any random attribute to any of it. It all had a.
He explains this very well, eh? The lady kneeling on the floor again. We need to send her some. What is it? I guess some kneeling pads and some plastic bags to kneel on, and yeah.
Theme, it went together and it was collected with intention. But at some point, something broke and she just stopped caring. Again, this is not something I'm assuming. This is something that she told the police. It's something that she told her mail lady. Friends who
Yeah.
would bring her food and do her grocery shopping for her eventually had to leave because she got so mean and so hateful toward people that she would just throw the
Wow.
food at them or smash it on the ground. And surely some of that was her mind was starting to slip.
Yep.
But this was before the dementia had even fully set in or really had started peeking its way into her life. Several people
Wow.
had told me they don't know how anybody could live like that. And when they say that, they typically mean
Yes, she did. Yes. Yeah. I don't think she died in the house, though.
they don't know how somebody could tolerate that mess and that filth and be okay in those conditions. When I say it about this particular owner, what
And so apparently it was just her. She had no family, no nothing. So, and once she passed, the house just went back to the bank.
I mean is I'm shocked that she was able to physically survive in that house for as long as she did. It was that toxic. We couldn't even enter the house without a mask on. And if you're just looking at the clutter and thinking, well, it's not that bad or it doesn't seem that bad, take a good gander at the floors that aren't carpeted. Hell, even look at the floors that are carpeted.
Yeah.
The carpeted one in the bedroom had so much cat poop that I filled a third of a shop vac with it. It had so much roach poop that I filled a 5-gallon bag. And all that dirt that's on the floors that aren't carpeted, that's not dirt. And again, I said it earlier, but I really want to stress this. It wasn't all animal. She was going in basically a crock pot in the bathroom. And then all the dirt that you'll see in the bathtub isn't dirt either. Because at some point the crock pot fills. And then instead of taking it out and dumping it somewhere, anywhere, she just started using the bathtub. Speaking of which, I did not clean the bathroom. Now, I did scoop up all of that, we'll call it
Yeah.
stuff,
No,
just
no,
for
no,
sheer
no, no,
politeness
yeah.
sake for anybody who happens to buy this house. And for the record, I'm considering buying it, gutting it, and turning it into an actual livable home, and then maybe even just giving it to somebody who needs it. Anyway, I did clean the bathtub as best as I could, but there was also a clog in the drain and none of the water worked in the bathroom
just-
except for the bathroom sink.
It's just, it really is sad, honestly. Like, say you go down, everybody has a house or two in their neighborhood where you're always wondering about the person inside. Like, are they okay? You never know, right? You might have somebody in this situation just down your street and you don't know it. And they need help. Apparently she had nobody. She had no friends, no family, nothing.
So I scooped all the stuff from the bathtub and from the floor. I did a quick once over on the bathtub, and then I kindly told the bank, hey, that's a literal biohazard, and I am not equipped to clean that whole thing with what I have right now. In the entryway, there was so much pet urine that I dumped 16 small boxes of baking soda directly onto that thin concrete type of carpet. And by that, I mean that's the carpet that sometimes people put on their porches or on a concrete floor. Super thin, but it just held all the urine and ammonia. So I just neutralized it with baking soda. If you're wondering what I used to clean all the feces and urine in the house, I sprayed the entire house, and I do mean every surface of the house, with a ZEP product that's meant for urine. And it's basically a cleaner that comes with
that's
hydrogen
wonderful.
peroxide. Normally, you'd want to
That's
use
awesome.
an enzyme cleaner, but for whatever reason, I could not find enzyme
Very
cleaner
nice.
at any store anywhere within a drivable distance, meaning like within 30 to 50 miles. So I got the
Yeah,
next
I
best
know-
thing,
I
which was
know.
peroxide. If you have pet urine in your house and you're trying to get rid of the smells, that's what I would use. I would use any enzyme type cleaner. That's the best. Then maybe follow that up with a hydrogen peroxide type of cleaner. And then
What?
once you're done with that, or even before you start that, just dump a crap load of baking soda on it, and it helps to kind of neutralize the
Are you okay, Genies? Are you okay?
uric acid. It was so bad that whenever I put both the urine cleaner and the baking soda on it, it fizzed like you combined
Hi,
baking
Robin.
soda and vinegar. There's no getting that smell
Okay,
out of this
good.
house
Glad you're
entirely
okay.
until the carpets are ripped up, and possibly it may have to be taken down to the studs because that stuff is going to be in the insulation. It's going to be in, I'd say, drywall, but this
The
is
wood.
actually plaster in this house. So you would have to basically hammer all that crap off and start from scratch. To give you an idea of how potent this ammonia was, we opened every window in the house that would let us open it that wasn't seized shut, and we kept them open the entire time we cleaned, day and night. And it still wasn't, even with our cleaning, wasn't enough to get rid of the ammonia smell.
It's the I'm glad that your children did that, Donna, and same with you, Marie. It's the kindest thing. Helping elderly people is the kindest thing you can do. It really is. I think, again, it reminds me of Nancy Guthrie. Like, that's why so many of us are just so heartfelt about her case. It's just, yeah, like, what? We don't hear about crimes against elderlies like that very often. Like, it's just terrible. There's no words except it's terrible. Wow, Donna. Smells are hard. Yeah, I get you, Vexing. Me too. Oh, well, good for you. That's great. Good for you. Keep going. Good job. Each day will get a little bit easier and easier and easier for you. You need to make an appearance. Step outside and go, here I am. Surprise. Good for you. That's amazing. I'm glad you told me that.
So when we get to the actual cleaning part of this, and we did clean the whole house, or at least most of it, minus the bathroom, you'll notice we're doing things in a weird order. Like if you're a housekeeper or you clean your own house at all, you'll be like, you want to start at the top and work your way down so that dust doesn't fall on a clean surface. You just keep chasing the dust down and the dirt down as you go from top to bottom. Then you work on floors last and all that. This is not like your typical clean. These have to be done in layers, and typically you're going to have to clean the same surface multiple.
Well, good for you. I'm so proud of you. That's fantastic news. Good for you. I love hearing good news like that.
times. And so it almost doesn't matter what order you clean this in because it's so extreme. We basically pick the thing that's annoying us the most and take care of that as quickly as possible. So as soon as we were able to, we swept the floors because you could feel that stuff under your feet and it would stick to your shoes and it just got tracked everywhere. So yeah, we may do the floors first and then we may clean some surfaces and then realize later, oh, you've got to do the ceiling and the cobwebs now. But when you're doing it in layers, the first step, the first layer is get all the clutter out. That's layer.
For sure. Time for a new pick. You bet, girl. Show yourself off. You should be so proud of yourself.
Layer 1. Then you move to the next biggest thing. Layer 2 would be big clumps of filth like animal droppings, cobwebs, literal feces in the house, big clumps of dirt. You're getting rid of that so that you can access the surface that you're going to clean next. Then you go to a little bit smaller debris and you keep doing that until you reach the surface and then you can actually clean it and sanitize it. Because cleaning something and sanitizing something are two totally different things. I mean, they're related, but it's two totally different layers of cleanliness. So all we're doing is cleaning our way down to the surface. And like I said, since this is such an extreme situation, it almost doesn't matter what order we clean it in. All those surfaces are going to need it multiple times. One of my earliest videos was cleaning, I think I called it hoarder aftermath. And it was after a person with hoarding disorder had been evicted from a family home. And I was using a carpet cleaner in order to get through the amount of bird feces that was on the floor. And it was a hardwood floor. And I just had to saturate that stuff and power through it.
Bird
and I got one
feces.
guy that was really mad, actually a couple of them. He said, you never put that much water.
Bird feces. How could there be bird feces? Unless they had like parrots and stuff all over the place, or the building was abandoned and birds got in there.
Water on hardwood floors, and I'm like, yeah, I know, I'd hate to ruin them. The floors were just pitch black from uric acid. All of them were already bowed to begin with. Those floors were absolutely toast. And it's kind of the same here. You're not really supposed to get LVP as wet as I get it whenever I'm mopping it, because I just put almost straight cleaner and water on it and let it set for the longest time to soften up all the nastiness that was on that floor. But that floor was pretty much ruined anyway, and all I'm trying to do is get the gunk off of it. So it's like, yeah, we're not following traditional rules on how to mop. But whenever you clean up 15 years of human and animal feces from your floors, how do you do it? Explain to me how you pull that off in your home that's filled with a 1/4 inch of actual poop. Oh, you haven't done that? Then shut your pie hole, Susan.
Bats. Yeah. Bats are bad. Yeah, bat guano can make you so sick. Well, thanks for hanging with me while I watch this. Something totally different for a change. I was watching this earlier today and I was like, hey, I wonder if everybody would want to watch this with me. So something for a change. The carpet and the subfloor has got to be right. I agree. But if you look at the wood, that's nice wood floors. I wonder if there'd be a way that they could save those floors somehow. Yes. Good. I'm glad you're enjoying it then. It's definitely a brain drain, isn't it? There you go. Something totally different. causes really bad respiratory. Oh, that's interesting. That's good to know. Yeah. Me too.
All right, so let's talk about the guy who made me angry. We were wrapping up our fourth day of cleaning. It was just me and Kristen at the house, and we were trying to pack up our stuff and leave. And then this guy pulls up and he starts asking about the house. We live in a very small town. People are nosy. It was not a big deal. We said, we don't know really much about
That rolling tray. Yeah, I was eyeballing the rolling tray too. That's vintage. I think this is the one he was talking about. It was one of the only things in the house that they could actually salvage.
it. We're just here to clean it out. And he was asking if anybody owned it or if the bank owned it. And then he said he was a flipper and he was wanting to buy the house so that he could flip it. Now, normally I don't care. I don't have a thing against flippers, but I hate vultures. And this dude just had a vulture vibe to me. He was trying to swoop in. He wanted to see inside the house. And I told him no. I said, it's toxic in there and the bank owns it through a trust right now. You are not legally allowed to go inside this house. I can't let you in there. Sorry. It's a liability on me, on the bank. You can't do it. So he tried to convince me to do it by just trying to sweet talk me. And then I told him, no, sorry, man, it's not happening. So I turn and start loading up my car and I turn around and he has found Kristen and is asking her the same thing after I told him no twice. Now, fortunately, not only did she say no, but on the second time when he did the same thing to her that he did to me, where he just keeps pressing, she was like, hey, no means no, buddy. Sorry, you can't. And then he left. That made me mad that he went to her after I had just told him that, but he left. No harm, no foul. The next day he came back and I was there by myself. Now, fortunately, this was a small guy. He's in his like 60s, maybe upper 60s. He's like 5'6". He doesn't weigh that much. I'm 6'4". I'm about 215 pounds. And I had on my full getup with my Breaking Bad gear on, my respirator, my suit with the hood on it, the whole 9 yards. I'm in this bathroom trying to get human poop cleaned up. And then I hear this pounding on the door. And then, well, you hear it. This happened.
It's not that bad in here. Come on. I told twice yesterday. I can't hear this talk. I'll tell you again. Yeah, please. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Wow, people are crazy, eh? So this guy just knocks on the door and he's giving him a problem. The nerve.
So yeah, it made me mad because he came with his wife that day and thought he would just come in. When he banged on the door, he actually walked into the house. And that's really what set me off. It was annoying that he was back trying to see it again, but this time he just banged on the door real hard and just helped himself and walked right on in. Meanwhile, the house is completely filled with ammonia. I don't know how that ammonia is going to react to the different types of cleaners that I may use. I don't know if I've accidentally spilt a bottle of Comet on top of uric acid. And more importantly, this guy doesn't either. And what he's not seeing is that 3/4 of the house is still caked in poop. The suit that I was wearing was brown from the waist down because I was still working on that bathtub. I should have gave him a big old hug and welcomed him in, just hugged him really tight and said, welcome, you are one of us now. Here's your complimentary mask and E. coli. Anyway, I happen to know the police officers in town. I happen to know the chief of police in town. So I called them up and said, hey, I'm not wanting to track the guy down or anything.
That.
It's just
That
he's very persistent.
That's cockroach droppings. Oh my God, it looks like dirt.
There's a very
That's cockroach droppings. It looks like dirt. June, I tell you, she is such a funny little dog. She's outside. She barks all the time. You guys know that, right? She barks at smells. So she's out in the middle of the yard. She's got her nose up in the air and sniffing. And she's barking at what she is sniffing. Funny little girl. I don't know where this is. I don't think it says. No idea.
Very good chance that he's going to show up here after I'm gone sometime at night and try to either look in the windows or try to crawl through one of the windows. I have no idea. And I don't want this guy getting hurt because he's just too dumb to stay away. So they put it on record. They said if he comes back, they'll trespass him. And then if he comes back after that, he'll go to jail. I'm out of there now anyway. As far as I'm concerned, I don't care if he crawls up on
That's actually a decent clock that she's touching right now.
top of the roof and starts doing moose mating calls.
Wow. It's really such a difficult job to do too. Like, I'm watching him, my back's hurting just watching him. My back is like, oh no, nope. Nope, been there, done that, not ever again. Look at the floor. Ugh, look at the floor. Coffee cans, yeah, check the cans for cash.
I've never seen so many spider webs. Oh, that takes your wording.
Wow. No, spiders, I just can't. I can't with spiders. Like, I'm terrified of spiders. Living in Arizona was a treat. Let's just put it that way. I was terrified all the time. All the time. All the freaking time in Arizona. The tarantulas, though, I got used to because I knew that the tarantulas were actually kind of protected. Like, you can't kill a tarantula. You're not allowed to kill a tarantula. And killing a tarantula, because they're so big, it's like stepping on an animal. Like, you don't want to hurt them, right? But we had spiders down there, you guys. Oh my gosh. At one we had just bought our house, and at one point it was the day we were moving in, and I was cleaning. Oh, I'll never forget it. I will never forget it. In my bathroom, in the vent in the ceiling in the bathroom, right? I'm starting to clean the bathroom, and I hear this like clunk clunk, like a clunk clunk noise. I swear to God, I look up and Godzilla is coming through the fucking vent. Like, I'm not kidding. Bigger than my hand. Hey, one sec. Sorry, I had a phone call. I had to take that. Can you put? Oh yeah, sorry. Sorry, I had to take that phone call. Okay.
I'll show you guys the coolest thing I've ever found in any house. So I was almost getting ready to throw this thing away, and I was like, well, these are kind of odd because they're nice. And then I looked in and found these mint condition 78 speed RPM records. They only made them on one side. They didn't do double sides yet. Then I was like, well, that means that up here has to be super cool. It's a Victor phonograph, and everything is original. There's the paperwork that went with it. There's extra needles, a bunch of them up there. And so I'm not throwing this away. I can't throw it away.
Good night, DS. Good night. Good night. Heavily, are you leaving too? Or are you staying? Good night to those that have left and I missed you. Sorry. You know, sometimes you get those phone calls. You have to take those phone calls.
If they offer to buy or to sell the house and I end up buying it like an as is, I'll take it somewhere and get it restored and I don't know, find some use for it, but that's nuts. There's multiple record slots down here too. Like even there's one up here that the record was just sitting on top of, but that is about as good condition as I've ever seen an old record like that. And that one is double-sided.
What time period is that?
I don't know. I would assume early 1900s. I mean, this is double-sided, meant for Victor, meant for this. Let's see if there's a September 20th or September 22nd, 1903.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this must have came with that because it's got the Victor symbol on it, and you can see the Victor symbol on the back too. Sir Harry Lauder.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Once we finished taking everything out to the dumpster and saving the 2 whole things that we were able to save, then it's on to cleaning up the floors just so we could walk through there a little bit more safe than what we were. I mean, we didn't get it clean by any means, but we were tired of the crunching and squishing. And sorry, I just said those 2 words. I really wanted to license the song Shop Vac. By Jonathan Colton for this Shop Vac section, but it wasn't available to license through YouTube, so that really sucks. That would have lightened the mood, I guess, a little bit. But Jonathan Colton, if you're watching this, shame on you. I tried to give you money and you wouldn't take it, probably because you're rich and you don't need it. But still,
Okay,
I want to.
yeah, I'm just not here right now. Sorry. Distracted. Sorry. What was I just saying? I was saying, I've cleaned floors like that before. That those people's bedroom floor was like this. It was just absolutely disgusting.
To use Shop Vac. Instead, here's the sweet sounds of sucking.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I find vacuuming almost therapeutic. I actually enjoy vacuuming. Yeah, throw out your shoes. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you too. And the lawn. And the lawn. I enjoy mowing the lawn too. Mowing the lawn, Savvy always laughs at me. I like to mow the lawn on an angle diagonally. It's got to be on a across the yard. It makes it look nice diagonally. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And the stripes have got to be perfectly straight. That vacuum is definitely toxic now. Yep. Crisscross, huh? That's nice. I've not tried that. I'll do that next time. That's cockroach poop. It's amazing how much dirt accumulates. Like I know that most of that's cockroach poop. But like all over the counters, everywhere. Yeah. Hantavirus, yeah. Hantavirus is scary, isn't it? We years ago we had a cabin. My ex and I had a cabin in the woods up here in British Columbia, and there was a while there we were worried about hantavirus because we figured out after a while that when we weren't there, there was pack rats living in the walls, and they were running back and forth amongst the cedar walls. And so my ex and his dad ripped all those walls down, and we were terrified of them getting hantavirus as they were doing that. But they were all like, they had masks and everything on. Luckily, they were okay. But we found out later that you can actually get it from any orifice of the body. It can get in anywhere, like your ears, your nose, your mouth, your eyes. So if anybody is ever dealing with that, make sure you wear eyewear as well. Wow. Close pin your nose. Yeah, that's really smart. Yeah. Wow. It really is fascinating where, like, it doesn't matter what the situation is, Mother Nature eventually tries to take over, So, like, this is all rodent droppings. So, like, Mother Nature is trying to take over, reclaim the space, no matter where you are. Must have taken a ton of roaches to do that. Yeah, I can imagine, Robin. Touch wood, I've never been in a house that's had roaches, thank God.
There you go, folks. It's a human banana.
Does this look hot?
Totally.
Does it look cool? I do this.
Woo!
Glasses too, lady.
Now it's on to the bathroom
Oh.
and scraping the floors. If you're wondering what all that white stuff is on top of that, that's not mold, that's baking soda. Like I said earlier, I did the same thing with the bathroom that I did with the rest of the house. I used the hydrogen peroxide based urine cleaner. And then after that dried overnight, I doused everything with just a massive amount of baking soda. That did kill the smell coming out of the bathroom. It didn't kill the ammonia coming from the other rooms, but it did help out the bathroom quite a bit. If you're wondering how we dispose of that, this may make a whole bunch of you mad.
Yeah,
but
I
this
haven't
is
either, Donna.
perfectly legal and basically the only way to do it. You double bag it and put it right in the dumpster. Like I thought whenever I first started doing this, that there would be some sort of biohazard thing we'd have to put it in and then maybe show up to a hospital. But then that makes no sense because I'm trying to imagine working at the hospital and some random dude comes in with a bag of poop and like, here's my bag of
can't
poop.
even.
Can you incinerate this? Thank you. And then leave the sterile environment that you just walked into and pooped up. Now it turns out that it's just like throwing away diapers.
Good night, Coupon. Have a good night, honey.
And throwing away, you know, your kitty litter. It all goes in the dumpster the same exact way. It all goes to a landfill. I mean, it makes sense now that I think about it, since I've been doing this for so long. People throw away their used toilet paper and just like all the nastiness that you want to get out of your home has to go somewhere. And now, you are cursed with this knowledge.
Wow. At that point, I'd be like, okay, just burn the place. Just burn the place down. Just burn her down and start fresh. Burn it all down. Yeah. Krista. That is absolutely amazing. Good for you for training. Good for you. That's amazing. Diet soda. Okay. Yeah.
That is roach poop. And
Diet soda and Diet Coke. Really? I've never knew that. So diet soda, really? Battery acid. Really? Isn't that interesting? I had no idea.
in a house like this, and I've seen it over and over and over again, when you have a really large infestation of roaches, they will oftentimes congregate behind picture frames in the hundreds. You wouldn't even think that many would fit back there. But they get behind there and they crawl all over the wires and the edges of the frames, and then they poop and it sticks to the wall. Then when you remove the picture frame, instead of like most houses where you'll see a brighter area of paint behind the picture frame because it's been sitting there for so long. This is the opposite. It's way darker. And how we got rid of that was I softened it with Clean Freak by Mr. Clean.
Yeah.
I'm not sponsored by them. I just like it. But you could use pretty much any chemical you want as long as it just softens the poop up. Then to clean the rest of it, all we used was basically dish soap and some water and one of those sponges that has a scrubby pad on one side and a sponge on the other. And you just saturate it and use small circles and it comes right off. It does take some muscle to do. Allison had a little bit of trouble getting hers off because she wasn't pushing hard enough. I, being as huge as I am and a monster of a man, a mammoth of a man, I just powered straight through it like
I like this guy. He's got a good sense of humor.
it was nothing. Like it was absolutely nothing. But no, for real, it wears you out. By the time you're done with this, your arms just feel like they're on fire. Kristen was an absolute machine at this. Like, she really got into it. She did the entire living room and the hallway on her own. If I would have let her, she would have done every room for like 2 days like this. I don't know where she found the energy from, but man, she was good at it. I actually had to cut out a bunch of footage of her doing it, or actually of all of us doing it, because we did so much of it. It would have been tedious to see us just scrubbing down walls forever and ever.
I find this satisfying to watch. Like, it really is satisfying to watch. I would have been wiping the floor and the wall right at the edge there as I went as well. The lady that lived, her respiratory must have been just absolutely terrible. Hey, her breathing must have been so labored. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, it helps that we had 2 cameras going so that we could split up into different rooms and knock this out a little bit quicker. Some people always have questions. Why do you do just one room at a time? Why do you do it chronologically like that? And if I'm cleaning on my own, that's typically the way I clean. But whenever we're doing it for a video, you're almost forced to clean it that way. Otherwise, everything gets jumpy. So when you have 2 phones, you can split up and then just fix it in editing later, which is what I'm doing now. But that also allows us to take a break. When somebody gets burnt out on doing one thing, they can switch to another room and start doing something else. So after the walls were done, Kristen could start working on that big built-in bookshelf looking cool thing in the living room. That's what scientists call it, I think. And then Allison could go into the kitchen and start shop vacuuming out all the roach poop from the cabinets. And that at least gives me prep work to where I can go in with a sponge and start cleaning all the surfaces after she's done, which is exactly what happens, sucker.
This guy's great. He's got a good sense of humor. Nice wood. It looks like rosewood or something, doesn't it? Rosewood or cherry wood. Pressure washer, yeah. Don't think Pine Sol would help, no. All right. We're going to skip ahead.
All the links to those are in the description of the video as well.
Okay, so here's the finished product. Oh my God. Wow. Wow, what a difference. Amazing. Wow. Good work. Amazing. Wow. Well, there you go. That was fun. Something totally different for a change. All right, peeps. I'm going to wrap that up for the day. Oh. Thank you all for hanging with me while we just hang out, do something different for a change. Please check out my newest products on my website, please, and see if there's something there that you will enjoy. They just did this to an old man's house down the corner on my road. I was afraid of what rodent would be coming your way. Yeah. Didn't even think about bugs. Yeah, I got you, Robin. That's what I was worried about here, actually, because they're digging up the whole field behind us. I was like, oh shit. Like, I thought that all the, say, the rats and stuff from the field would all of a sudden be bombarding our property, but so far it's been okay. There's not been a problem. Yep, I agree, CW. Yeah. Yeah, I was worried about it, Donna. I was like, oh shit. I know, like, even the coyotes lived in the field right here. And I notice now at night, they're not screaming from here. They're screaming from like over beside us. So they switched to the other field. Yes. Yep. I ship to the States every day, Robin. You betcha. I've been shipping to the States again, I don't know, I think 6 months now. So yeah, things are all good. All right, everyone. I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good night. And if you're going to work tomorrow, have a good day at work. And I will talk to you later. Okay.